John is going, right?
Yes, he will be.
Okay, we're live.
We are live.
And Josh is telling us why he hates microconf.
I didn't say that.
You may as well have, right?
Yeah.
That's how most of our political discourse goes these days, right? I'm just not sure that it's for me. You hate babies?
Exactly.
I can't even talk to you anymore. Anyway. Oh, and then we were all singing the Mac update blues, right?
Yeah.
It messed my stuff up.
I didn't install them. Something new came up?
There's just an OS update, but for me, I have 4 monitors in front of my screen or in front of my face, you know, and I don't know that I need that many, but I have them, and I had a docking station that would run them, and the update messed up the driver. So
now you have one monitor.
No, I have 4 working monitors, and I have 4 dongles plugged into my computer.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. This whole podcasting thing's getting out of control too.
Too many podcasts to manage, or?
Yeah, I think I need to duck out of 1 or 2 more. Of course, yeah. Anyway, so React Roundup is on Thursdays now, and Views on View is on Fridays, and it's just getting a little bit tough having one every day. I'd rather just record them all, you know, on like Tuesday and then Wednesday, and just get them all done. So I think I'm probably going to talk to those panels, and I kind of have final say on a lot of this stuff, so I'm probably just going to go to everybody and say, look, recording on Thursday really isn't working for me, so anything that's currently recorded will happen, you know, it can happen on Thursday. I'm going to probably have Michelle reach out to the guests and say, hey, is there any way that we can do this on, you know, Wednesday at this time?
Yeah.
And then that way I can just get it done, because I think if I recorded, you know, Ruby Rogues, and then we're starting an Elixir podcast, so but that one is on Tuesday. So if I did Ruby Rogues, then Elixir, and then JavaScript, and then maybe one more, and then on Wednesday did kind of the same thing, I could stick with all the shows that we're currently looking at producing. But I've basically committed at this point to a data science podcast as well. So I'm just not the one that's pulling all of the, you know, I'm not herding cats this time. I'm just helping them handle production. So
are you going to be on the show though?
I'm debating that.
Okay.
I'm interested in it, but I'm much more interested in the other technologies that we currently have shows on and in Elixir. So I told David, who's the guy that's starting it, that, you know, I would probably show up and guest panelist on occasion, but that I probably wouldn't be on every week.
You know, another option would be could you be like bi-weekly, every other week?
As far as producing the show, or as a panelist on a weekly show?
As a panel. Because you're kind of at a breaking point, it seems like, as far as scaling.
Yeah, the issue though is that I want the network to grow beyond me.
Yes.
And so if I'm not on the podcast, I still want them to produce every week. And
that's what I meant. Like, so it seems like having you involved in the actually producing the show, well, actually being on the show helps keep it going.
Yes.
So you don't want to like step out completely, but also you're kind of at a breaking point where you can't scale up much beyond this and still be on the shows. So you might be able to rotate yourself more, and that way you'd be there to keep the momentum, but you wouldn't be pushing the car up the hill every single week.
That's true. And as far as like React Roundup and Views on View, basically everything except for the Elixir podcast, Freelancer show, and iFreaks. I mean, I'm the one that's lining up the guests and stuff anyway.
Right.
And that keeps a lot of the momentum as well, right?
Mhm.
And I've switched over to Zoom for recording, which has also been a big deal because wasn't last week, maybe it might have been last week. It was either last week or the week before. I couldn't make it. It was last week. I couldn't make it to those shows. And they were able to log into Zoom and do the call without me, and Zoom automatically recorded it. So I just went and pulled the file off of the cloud, right?
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm also going to give Eric access to that and just be like, look, you know, if I add you to all the guest calendars and then, you know, let you go download the episodes, I'm pretty sure that you can figure out which recording goes with which episode.
Right.
And then we can just make that happen. So, yeah. So I'm kind of heading that way. But yeah, I don't know. I think getting all that stuff off my plate is going to be kind of critical. And yeah, I've also been reaching out to sponsors, and it looks like DigitalOcean wants to come back. So,
oh, sweet.
So I'm probably going to line that up. I should probably talk to you guys about lining up sponsorships for Entreprogrammers.
Yeah.
Because I could just say, hey, look, you know, I'm representing, you know, Entreprogrammers. I'm representing these 3 shows that are, you know, talking about entrepreneurship, and see if we can line some things up there.
Yes, you have full full permission to do that. Yeah. We will not say no.
I know. I just if I do it, I'm going to take a cut of it, and I'd like to.
Yeah.
I like to have that all hammered out before I do it, and that way nobody's going, "Hey, wait, I didn't think we were going to give you that much, right?" You know, I want, but at the same time, 5%,
you know, 5%. You know, we'll give you 5%. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, well, and that's the kind of effort you'll get.
That's a joke. Yeah. To be clear, yeah, that's a joke.
But I'm also kind of leaning toward. I think I'm going to pre-write some like sponsorship follow-up emails that are somewhat generic. And the reason I've been putting that off is because I keep adding stuff to Podwrench, and then I'm like, oh, I want to change the way that I send the email to them, right? Saying, hey, go check out this feature, or I added this thing to it, or stuff like that. But I think I'm just going to write it out for the process as it stands, because then what I can do is I can turn it over to Michelle, and I can basically say, you know, here's, you know, I'm going to set things up so that you get notified whenever somebody sets up a sponsorship call appointment. And that way she can move them along if it doesn't just auto move them through Zapier on Pipedrive. And then she can just auto follow up with them every week or every 2 weeks. And I don't have to go in, because I mean, half of what I'm doing with the follow-ups is essentially that. And if I've written the email, I don't have a problem with her sending an email that says, hi, we've blah, 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 blah. Thanks, Chuck. And we can line that up. So anyway, I didn't mean to just dive into all my crap, but I've been kind of in the thick of it this week, and yeah, followed up with that. I've also I also want to go and just get a list of conferences that I can go and do the interviews at, because I don't know if I told you this last week or not, but
last week was just me whining the whole time, so probably not.
So a couple things happened last week. One was I had a sponsor, and this kind of highlights part of my problem with filling the spots. I had one of my sponsors, he emailed me and he said, hey, it's time for a call. And I'm like, okay, he's either pissed at me or he wants something specific from me.
Okay. And
so we get on the call, and what he wanted specifically from me was to renew his sponsorships.
Okay. Well, that's a good kind of call.
Yeah, but it also kind of highlights, okay, so if somebody's sponsorship ends, I need to follow up with them. and say,
No, you need to follow up with them 2 months before, or a month before, or 2 months before their sponsorship
Right.
ends. Yeah.
well, it depends on the length, right? If it's a
Right.
6-week sponsorship, I need to do it 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
If it's a 3-month sponsorship, or quarterly sponsorship, then yeah, I need to follow up with them a month before. And so that kind of highlighted that for me as, oh, okay, I need to be on top of this. But yeah, I think I'm going to build some mechanism for that into Podwrench.
Yeah.
That just it kicks me in the head and says, hey, you need to go follow up. That would be the easiest thing to add, the lowest bar, because it's just a built-in email.
Yeah.
The flip side of that, though, is that eventually what I'd like it to do is I'd like it to email them and say, your sponsorship's about to end. Here's a proposal for a similar sponsorship for the next however many weeks.
Nice.
And once I get the sponsor or the proposal piece together, automating that is kind of an easy-ish next step. Especially
Nice.
if I can get in and say all of these sponsorships are part of the same sponsorship order, then I can just have it go and basically duplicate the order and give it rules for upgrading or downgrading placements and things like that. If, for example, if they bought all mid rolls this time, which is what Linode did, and some of the mid rolls get taken next time, they get picked up in the meantime because I haven't been reserving those for future stuff. Because if somebody else wants to come in and give me money now for it, I'm going to let them. But then it can send them a proposal that says, you're going to get 3 pre-rolls, 1 post-roll, and the rest of them are mid-rolls, and have it figure that out.
Right.
And then if some of those get picked up and it's got a pending proposal, then I also want it to update them and just send them an email and say, look, we've updated the proposal because these spots got taken. And I think that'll create a sense of urgency with them.
Right.
To hey, if you want what you ordered last time, you need to move because they're disappearing.
That will be fantastic.
Yeah. And then I think I'm going to have Michelle. So Michelle's helping me fix up some issues on the website. But I think I'm also going to have her next week do some research and get a list of conferences that are big-ish or somewhere where I want to travel to. So I did some of this myself. So I reached out to Ruby Kaigi, which is a Ruby conference in Japan.
Oh, okay.
And just to see if I can do, because NG Atlanta, I did like 20 interviews with speakers, and everybody involved, the sponsor, the conference, all of them were super happy with the outcome. And I'm doing it again at NGConf. So both the conferences that I've successfully pulled this off at are Angular conferences. But it also gives me a whole bunch of content that I can stitch together to form an episode if we get behind, right? It's like, hey, here are a couple of interesting interviews from my visit to NG Atlanta. So I'm working on that, but I'm trying to find other conferences that I can go to and record episodes at. And so yeah, I reached out to Ruby Kaigi. I reached out to FluentConf, which is in San Francisco in June. I don't remember. But there are a few other conferences out there. But yeah, just see if I can line that kind of thing up, because so when I did NG Atlanta, I'm just going to throw the numbers out there. But when I did NG Atlanta, I told them I wanted $2,500 for it. And that was just kind of because it was a proof of concept kind of thing.
Yeah.
And given the outcome, I felt like we knocked it way out of the park. And so for NGConf, the same sponsor is sponsoring me again, and I doubled the price.
Nice.
And they didn't even blink. And so
you've probably got a couple more of those at least before they start to flinch.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna bump it up about the same dollar amount again for another conference if I can do Fluent or something like that. Yeah. The other thing is I've also gone, like, NG Atlanta was kind of small beans. NGConf is high profile in the Angular community. and
Right.
and Fluent's another level altogether. And so with Fluent, I could probably ask for 10 grand.
Nice. Well, one thing that you could do too would be to find out like what the sponsorships and booths and stuff cost at those conferences,
Oh
which
yeah,
would
that's
give you a
idea.
good price anchor, right? Like if you're
Uh-huh.
and if you can demonstrate, like you might come up with some creative things like, you know, we're going to sit there under a banner with your logo on it or something. And, you know, like just find ways to promote them that don't really cost you anything. Then you can continue to bump up the value for them. But
That's true.
pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like the big sponsor at FluentConf is Cloudinary.
Hmm.
The other thing is that reaching out to companies like Cloudinary,
Right.
it, you know, they may in turn sponsor the podcast.
Exactly. Yep. You're building relationships. What they end up, where they end up giving you money is kind of immaterial. There's
Yeah.
multiple ways.
Yeah, but the thing is that if I can go to one conference a month and generate $10,000 or $15,000 every time I
Yeah.
do it, that changes a lot of things for me. It frees me up to not worry about making the money I need to run the company, and it makes it so that I can, you know, focus on maybe hiring or putting together more shows, or you know, doing some of the other initiatives that I feel like are going to pay off for the
Right.
listeners and things like that. So, and also experiment and figure out, okay, a lot of people are really down with this, you know, not so much down with that. And just figure out where the next steps need to happen instead of constantly being like, oh, I need to sell more sponsorships, or, oh, I need to do this, and having this frantic need for the cash flow is almost there.
Essentially what you're doing with this is you're creating a higher ticket offer.
Yeah.
Which is always nice because it always gives you a lot more slack. Like if you can have something that's like, you know, several $1,000s that people are happy to take, then that's really helpful. The other thing I was thinking would be as you're looking at these conferences, you're already probably doing this, but definitely target the prime sponsor. You know, like those are like, they're raising their hand and saying, hi, you know, we're willing to spend $10,000 to $50,000 on basically brand marketing. So,
yep, absolutely. And I'm kind of tempted to like. So FluentConf's at the San Jose Convention Center, and one thing that I found with a lot of these conferences, if it's in a hotel, they pretty much fill the entire convention center in the hotel, unless it's just huge. But with these bigger convention centers like San Jose, or the Oakland Convention Center, or you know, Las Vegas Convention Center, they don't fill the whole thing. And the conference venue will actually rent you space. And so worst case scenario, in fact, I should probably just do this. I should just contact San Jose Convention Center and just say, hey, look, how much is it for a small room? And what that does is, then even if I don't get the thumbs up from the conference itself, I mean, I can go in and I can work their list of speakers. I know it's funny. I was looking at their list of speakers and I'm like, yeah, we've had about a third of these people on the show. And so I could easily get them, because I already have a relationship. I could easily get them. And then I could also work my contacts to see if I can line up some of these other people. But yeah, just let them know, hey, this is the show it's going to be on. So for FluentConf, it'd be JavaScript Jabber. Just say, hey, look, we're doing these shows, you know, JavaScript Jabber. And JavaScript Jabber gets about 30,000 downloads per episode. We'd like to highlight your talk and then do an episode about whatever it is you're talking about. And yeah, and then even if I don't get the blessing from the conference themselves, you know, I can work it out with speakers. And then we've got a whole bunch of content that we can put up throughout the year. And I mean, if I come away with five or six episodes, then we're 5 or 6 episodes ahead on JavaScript Jabber. And that takes a load off me too, right? Because then if people don't show, we don't know what to talk about, then I can just, you know, I can chill a little bit about it. So.
I like it.
But yeah, anyway, that's kind of what I've been thinking about, and just talking to you and thinking about, oh, I could even just get a room in the convention center. I mean, I'd have to charge them more for it because my overhead would be higher, but
Right. Yep. You could pass that along for sure.
yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, just from what you mentioned earlier too, like, and what we talked about last week about reaching out to all your former sponsors, I would actually prioritize that, the setting up a system to notify you that sponsorships are expiring even before that.
Yeah, I could build that in
Because-
probably in a couple hours today.
Yeah, because that's seriously, like, even if it's just sending you an email or something at the
Yeah.
appropriate time, because that's like that. Current customers are. I mean, like, we have Perfecto. They signed up with us like a year ago, and they're still sponsoring the newsletter. And I just, like, every quarter I've bumped up the price as our list has grown. I'm like,
Mhm.
and they're like excited. I'm always like kind of nervous, like writing the email. I'm like, well, our list grew this much, and so I'm increasing the price to this. And they're like, the reply last time was great. So
Yeah, well, if they're getting anything close to the payoff they want,
they are, yeah,
and your list is growing, all that tells them is, you know what, if we're getting consistent, 1-2% off the list, that 1 or 2% just got bigger.
yep. So yeah, so I mean, that's the easiest money that you're going to get right there, is the
Yeah.
current customers, and then the next would be people that were customers and have lapsed. So
Yep, and I promise everybody I won't sell your information if you join my mailing list to Cambridge Analytica. So
yeah, I've heard some scuttlebutt that people are getting. I've heard of people getting Facebook pulling their ads that they're running based on custom audiences and stuff. So I think Facebook is just like in panic mode right now, and they're cracking down on advertisers. So if you're using Facebook, just heads up.
yeah. But yeah, so those are the kinds of things that I'm looking at this point, and I think those are the things that are going to pay off. I still want to do the dev summits, but at this point, I'm kind of tempted to just make them 100% free, and just use them to build my list. And then what I'd like to do instead of selling a ticket is come up with some other offer that I can make during the conference.
Right.
And so I can say, hey, look, here's this package, of videos or courses or whatever. And, so if it's a JavaScript focused deal, then I can do that.
Well, I mean, even even if all you did was build a big segmented list and you did a periodic affiliate offers, like that would probably be an easier sell than the conference tickets.
That's true. And I could set up the automation so that, when they get on board for the conference, it essentially does. Yeah. It sends updates about the conference, leading into the conference. And it also, it prompts them to do things like subscribe to the podcasts. Or,
well, and you could also, the other thing you could do would be to have
the affiliate stuff, right?
Yeah. You could also just use the email list as another thing that you can sell sponsorship on.
That's true.
Because if you did a weekly newsletter that was just a roundup of the blog post content, like we do, and
I could sell sponsorship on that.
You could sell sponsorship on that. Yeah, that's where, like, we on all of our emails, we only sell it on the newsletter because that's pretty generic, and it seems to make sense versus like to just have random emails go. Well, I certainly don't want any email that's selling something like a product or an affiliate offer. I don't want any sponsorship on that because it's another call to action. So
your sponsorship?
For how much are we charging?
Yeah.
I think right now we're charging like 20. Is that like? It's like we end up getting about thinking it's like $2,500 a month.
Do you base that on a CPM? So it's
Yeah.
just the list is, you know.
Yeah, I forget what the number was.
Per month, so $600 per email.
What's that?
$600 per email.
Something like that. Yeah, it's 6 or 8.
All right. Not
What's
more.
that?
How many emails are you sending per month?
So those newsletters are going to 54,000 per week.
Anyone, any other email that gets that promotion, or it's only the newsletter?
Only the newsletter list. But the newsletter goes to anyone who's not currently going through a sales sequence.
Right.
So you only get the emails, and then when you're done with that, you start getting a newsletter. So we're not diluting the sales emails.
No, I just wanted to see how much you guys are charging in terms of dollars per.
Yeah, I forget what the CPM was. I had figured it out. I mean, and it was just a starting point too. Like you can, if you get, like Chuck has, the problem was we didn't have a ton of people coming to us for that already. So if in Chuck's case, you can just throw numbers out there and start high and work your way down until somebody says yes.
Yeah.
And then you have your starting point. So, and for the right people, like if they're smart, like the Perfecto is doing it right. They're producing content. They're doing basically guides like ebooks. And so what we're doing is driving opt-ins for them.
Right.
And they're very happy. I forget what they told me the CPM numbers for them, or the CPA, cost per acquisition numbers, were pretty good. So they're happy. So if you can find people that have that approach, they love email. It's not so great for just like branded stuff, I don't think, but for call to action type advertisers, it works well.
I should check your email. Take a look at what you guys send in there.
Yeah, we just got this big, ugly, gray box at the top of the email, and they get several hundred clicks per send.
Okay, so how many are you getting per send? Do you know?
I could tell you. Yeah, let me look. Oh, I can give you an average. What I'll do is I'll look at the. So we just started. I'll look at I use Pretty Links for.
Yeah, I love Pretty
reporting,
Links.
so I can see how many clicks we're getting.
The developer of Pretty Links is here in Salt Lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you know him?
Williams. He's a good guy.
Oh my goodness, it's such an amazing. I love this tool.
Yeah, he and his company put that together. Yeah.
So the most recent one that we set up for them, looks like I created it on the 15th of March. So that was just. So it would have. I think it's gone out probably 3 or 4 times now, and we've driven 1,494 unique clicks. So you can get some idea of the cost per click on that. Is pretty decent. It's like
1,492 clicks on one email?
No, that's like 3 or 4 emails.
For the whole month?
Yeah. So
per click.
So do you have a way for that to be automated, or do you just manually change it if you ever get a new sponsor?
I manually do it. It's not hard in Drip. So basically in Drip you can do, they added, this is something I'd asked for like 2 years ago, but they added the content snippets. So what I do is I have a template with a content snippet in the template, and then I just go in and update I have to do it by hand because I have to format like I format the ad into HTML, so it's got like a header and it's in a box, and it's a little bit of work. It takes me maybe 10 minutes when they send me a new ad, and they do that like once or twice. They do that probably 2 or 3 times a quarter. And then I just update the content snippet, and then it just rolls out into the new email automatically. So it's not a huge hassle at all. Easy, and definitely something that could be easily outsourced. If I had a volume of them, I would definitely outsource that. But
well, you could actually do more than one, right? In this case,
what's that? We could do more than one.
You couldn't because you can only do one sponsorship per.
Yeah, we are only doing one. Well, now that's not set in stone. That's just how we're doing it. What you could do, Peter Cooper is the pro on this, and he's got a longer newsletter that's like a weekly, his like Ruby Weekly, JavaScript Weekly, and they've got like probably up to 5 slots per newsletter, I think. And they charge more than, honestly, I think they charge more than I do for our primary. So I kind of base mine off of, I looked at their CPM and I kind of put mine in the same ballpark, but they're higher than we are, I think.
Well,
so
I mean, how many articles are you putting into your newsletter every week?
Like 5. It's literally just the 5 the blog posts that we publish that week.
Yeah. So the thing that I see too, though, is that I mean, Peter's offering, he usually has one ad that is obviously clearly an ad.
Yeah.
And some of the other ads, it says that it's sponsored underneath, but it looks like the rest of the content. And I think you can get away with a lot more that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he might have 2 ads that are obviously ads.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely, there's we could do more with it. I was planning to do more, but it just became clear that it was not a priority. So,
yeah. If you send that out, do you send it out on Monday or Tuesday or?
We send it on Friday, actually.
On Friday,
which is on purpose because Friday is the lowest response day generally I find on offers. So that way, yeah. That
seems easy because all of our content goes out, earlier in the week. So.
And that way you'd be cross promoting the
shows,
shows too. So it seems like you could always try it for a month and just see before you sell sponsorship on it. Just try it out for a month and see.
Josh, would you do sponsorships with timers in them?
Would I?
Yeah.
I've never tried it, but if we had
timers in it, like this offer goes away in 5 hours or something.
Yeah.
If I would be open to doing that if a sponsor wanted to.
I could do it. It
would be a little complicated to set up.
It's not complicated from my perspective. If I give you the email, I can do it for the productivity one, see what happens.
So you just do what, like a deadline funnels or something?
Yeah. And we could do the sponsor post. I could pay you as a sponsor.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that would be worth it for you. So it would be, $600. Make like what? How many? 600.
$2 if like.
Divided by 3. It would be $30, right? Is that what the offer would be? 20 sales.
Yeah.
20 sales would break even.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be better for us to just do.
Yeah. The only problem is you can't repeat that offer multiple times because you numb the people.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. In my situation, though, I don't know. I feel like I could get away with a little bit more of that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
As far as time boxing the offers?
Yeah.
Because most people are looking for specific content from specific shows every week. And so if I can tie that a little bit to the, before the next episode comes out or something like that, I might be able to, there's a natural fall off, where there's new specific content for whatever it is that they're looking for.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, it might be difficult to do it on a regular basis. That's the problem with stuff like this, with a deadline offer.
Yeah, I do really like the idea though of doing the affiliate offers.
Yeah, they are affiliate offers are much more definite real sales and real revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice because it's kind of nice for both parties because there's no risk for the affiliate. There's low risk for the affiliate, and then
right.
for
They
you,
don't pay out until they've gotten paid.
yeah, you're taking most of the risk, honestly. But if you do the work, you can actually make more. You know, like there's no way Manny could pay us $7,000 to do ads for him, but he can pay us half of the commissions we generate, and then that works for both of us. So I think we could probably, like, he'd probably be comfortable maybe $1,000 or $2,000 for a campaign, you know, but beyond that, it starts to get, when you're a smaller business, it starts to get kind of.
Yeah, you need predictability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Interesting.
So I'm going live with my meditation product next week.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. We've been doing some pre-content over the last week or so on a lot of meditation stuff.
Are you launching it to your list first then?
Yeah, list and YouTube audience. It's like I'm trying to, like, part of me wants to go with like the whole idea of just not offering any kind of discount, but having expiring bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the urgency. But then I'm thinking, since this is the first time around, you know, price urgency is probably the best way to get sales.
So I was listening to a really interesting interview recently about this, and what the guy was saying was that part of the reason people get confused about some of these strategies is that there's different strategies that work in different markets depending on where you're positioned. And he was saying that, like, what a lot of people do is they'll get comfortable at marketing in one area, and then they'll change streams and try to use the same tactics, and it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And so the whole bonuses thing, what his contention was that bonuses are what you use when you have an upscale brand in an upscale market. Because if you discount in an upscale market, you damage mm-hmm. yourself. And if you're in more of like so it would be more like Tiffany's, right? Tiffany's or Lexus or, you know, Tesla, they don't want to, like, Tesla never has, you know, 33% off President's Day sale. Right? Like they'll give you crazy stuff. Like they might give you, I don't know, like a cruise, you know, if you buy at a specific time, but they don't usually discount. And he had a guy that he knew that worked in some kind of like business to consumer sales, and then he went in to he went into consulting, like high-end consulting, and he went in and he did a proposal for the president of this company, and he, like, I don't know, he said, like, you know, $50,000, we'll do all this stuff for you. And then the guy's like, let me get back to you, I'll think about it. He's like, well, what if I take $10,000 off? And the guy's like, get out of my office. Like that just isn't how things are done in that market. So anyway, where I'm coming around to this is I don't even know. I'm not sure that the bonuses without the price discount help as much for us as they would. I don't know that we're in that kind of market where the bonuses would be more effective than the price discounts.
Yeah, I think that's actually what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the idea that people who have the $2,000 products, they are consistently able to do that. That's their urgency. They don't do price discounts, but they'll do bonus expires and then cart close, right?
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. I think if you're not going to do a price discount, the best thing to do is to have the whole freaking thing shuts down and you can't get in. Like they have actual scarcity where, like, you cannot, like Brian Dean just did this with SEO That Works. He was charging $1,000 for the intro level that I bought, or $2,000 or $5,000 for the top package. But when the doors closed on that sucker, they closed. And I mean, he probably did several $1 million on that launch, because we noticed after Elisa, I was talking to Elisa about when I got to the outreach section of the course, we were getting hammered. She was getting hammered with outreach emails from people from like all different niches, all different blogs across all the blogs that she works on. She was like, what is going on? I was like, oh yeah, this is Brian Dean's SEO course. We just got to the outreach. And she's like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Cause she was getting flooded. Like we get a lot of them normally, we get several a day, but she was getting like, dozens and dozens of these emails. So I think I think he killed it with that course.
Sure he did.
But again, he closed it.
Mm.
He closed it down, and you could not. So I kind of think that that's the model that works the best if you've got a high-end course these days.
Yeah, my price point, like it's in a couple of $100 range. But the thing is, the product will close because there's live training. So there is a
Yep.
it will close.
Yes.
Mm.
Is this for the meditation one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I should.
I mean, it.
So tempting to give a price discount because it will work.
Yeah, it would be interesting to segment and test it with a small section of your list. Like do what works for 80% of the list and slice off 20 and do something else. But don't risk the whole. I would say do what works, what is going to work, and then experiment with a smaller fraction of it. But
Okay. Yeah, except that if I also go on YouTube, then it's hard to.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep. Keep it going and keep it going in a similar way.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if anybody complains, you can always give them whatever deal they want. So, I mean, when I was signed up for Course Builders Laboratory by I can't remember his name right now. It's another good course, Danny Inney.
Oh yeah.
And they were price testing the heck out of that because I almost couldn't sign up because I found multiple different their funnel, and I was there were different prices everywhere. I was like, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not good, but yeah.
Part of the testing process, though.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I think for a boot camp, right? Like a $15,000 boot camp, that's where I would probably lean more towards bonuses and stuff versus, especially when there's hard costs involved with fulfilling it, where you don't want to you've got, they have to pay their mentors. They've got a whole team, so it's profitable, but they don't want to slice into the profit too much.
Yeah. Cool. I will work on some sort of a freaking urgency.
When's your launch? Is it this week? This coming week?
Yeah, this coming week. It's more early bird this coming week.
Okay.
Maybe full price next week, the week after, and then cart close after that.
Cool. What's your list size these days?
Around 10,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, Chuck, I sent you the email with all the details.
Okay. It's been kind of a crazy week, and next week I'm at NGConf all week. So we'll see how all of this kind of shakes out.
Yeah. No hurry. No worries. Whenever you are interested, we can talk.
Yeah, I'm interested. I need to figure out a couple more things first. They're a little higher priority than that. So.
Yeah. Have you sold anything to the email list?
Not a lot, not super successfully, but I think
Mostly affiliate offers.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of luck with that. I haven't really tried with affiliate offers. I kind of want to get them back in the habit of hearing from me because I really haven't done that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of liking the newsletter idea first, is that yeah, I could get Michelle to put most of that together, and then I can either I or somebody, one of the hosts can write up summaries for their particular episodes, and then we could just drop it in. And that way, we can get some cross promotion going. But the other thing is then once they're used to hearing from me about that, I'm also going to basically hit the lists, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to coordinate the automation, but it's going to basically everybody who's subscribed to get JavaScript Jabber updates specifically it's going to say, you know, I want to essentially start sending them emails that say, hey, make sure you're subscribed. Here's how you subscribe on Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, etc. You know, make sure that you're, you know, go leave us a review in iTunes. Go leave us some suggestions of people you'd like to hear from or topics you'd like to hear on our topic suggestion system. You know, and just kind of work through that so that, again, I can kind of warm them up. But I'm not asking them to buy anything. I'm not hitting them with the sale right away. I'm hitting them with, hey, you know, you like the show, you know, how can we give you more of what you want? And then from there, then I can start saying, hey, you know, somebody offered a discount for, you know, for listeners of the show. So go check it out. Or, hey, I was talking to a sponsor and I thought this was a particularly good deal. Do you want to check it out? And then I, you know, so then I can start to ease into the, hey, somebody's actually paying me to market to you folks, kind of thing. But yeah, I kind of want to warm them up first. I don't want to just go in cold with all of a sudden, hey, go check out this thing.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate, especially with a list like this where it's basically built around content. So.
Yep. Another avenue on that is you listen to JavaScript Jabber, but do you use a framework? Because if you do, we probably have a show about it. So yeah, just hitting that angle. So it's, hey, look, we're trying to give you what you want. So here are some things we think you want. And, you know, here are some ways for you to tell us what else you want. But yeah, then once they get a little more invested, then we can start selling them stuff.
Cool.
Hey, by the way, what do you just go to this website I shared with you, vshred.com, or maybe look at its analytics or SimilarWeb or whatever, and give me a ballpark number of what do you think they made last year revenue.
Okay.
Good game.
I assume that you have inside information here.
I do. Two of the guys I know from like 7 years ago.
So they're in the fitness space. They are. Let's look at. Let's look at their analytics.
It's funny because I have DevLifts as a sponsor for Ruby Rogues, which is a diet and exercise plan.
I'm actually going to guess that their Alexa rankings and stuff is not going to be very high.
Take a look. Alexa, SimilarWeb, whatever.
Oh, 59. Oh, okay. 29,000 in the US. 55. I mean, I'm going to guess that they're probably in the 5 to 10 million range.
What? How'd you come up with that number?
Because they're in the fitness space, they've got a pretty huge. I mean, Alexa, their traffic, their Alexa traffic is telling me that they're probably getting 50 or 500,000 to 1 million page views a month.
But if you look at yours, you guys would come to similar, like not very far from theirs, right?
No, our Alexa rank is like double, I think.
Yeah, but your traffic is also maybe 1/3.
Well, yeah, our Alexa rank is twice as high. Our Alexa rank is, I could be getting this wrong because I have multiple different. Oh no, okay. Oh yeah, it's similar. Okay, never mind. I was thinking Ahrefs rank. But yeah, I mean, in the fitness space, are they doing a high-end offer? What's the offer?
If you look at the products, that's it. Go down.
Oh, it's just okay. So they don't have a. Do they have like a in-person, any kind of in-person, or is it just?
No, it's just info products.
Okay.
They do have a YouTube channel with like 500,000 subscribers, as you can see there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think in the fitness space, do you know their numbers? Am I like ridiculously high, or?
I know their numbers. Chuck, what do you think?
If they're doing,
I'm so bad at this.
I think they're probably also killing it on Facebook. That's where I would be. I bet you I bet you that they have a pretty good Facebook funnel. So if you had a decent Facebook funnel in the fitness space, I think several million a year is pretty attainable.
Yeah, they're doing 20 million.
20 million. Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Now Cambridge Analytica will know how much you weigh.
Yeah. No, I can be that. I can believe that completely. Am I right about Facebook? Are they doing Facebook?
Yeah, they're mostly paid traffic.
Yep.
Of course, they're killing it. They have 500,000 subscribers there.
Yep.
They have a lot of paid traffic, and paid traffic is so much heavier buyer intent than even organic.
Yes. And the well, and they've got the survey. The surveys typically work pretty well. I wouldn't be actually. I feel like Ryan Levesque's fingerprints are on this.
Where do you see the survey? Oh, the survey. Okay.
Yeah, the survey. I bet you this is what they're running their Facebook traffic to. Is this this survey here? So, and then, yep, this is Ryan Levesque. I'm almost positive. The survey looks like his work.
What do you mean? It's he has some does it?
Yeah, he has well, he used to have a product. I don't know if he still does, but he has his survey funnels methodology is basically this. Like you collect a bunch of information about people first, segment them, and then ask for the opt-in at the end. And when he gets it working, it apparently kills it.
Yeah. Actually, I just went through the survey. There's no opt-in even all the way till here. Wow.
Is it at the very end?
No, there is just a video.
Oh, okay. So they must just be selling straight from the video.
I'm thinking that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's no page though. That's the funny part. It's just
and then wait.
It's just walking them through the damn video.
Yep.
Right.
But where's the fucking? Oh, there it is. Oh, only when you hit a certain. Oh wow. So what they do is when you hit a certain marker in video, that's when the remaining sales page opens up.
Okay.
Did you know about that?
I've seen that you can do that. I mean, I've never.
I didn't know offer that could do that. That only when you hit a marker in your.
I think Thrive can do that. I think that you can do that with a video where in Thrive where it'll display content at a certain time, so you can like have a button.
But here it's only when you go to a certain point in the video.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah.
Maybe I'm confusing myself. Maybe it's just because it showed up after two minutes of me being there.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the fitness market is definitely, it's super competitive, but if you can crack into it.
Yeah, you can figure out. I'm sure they have like a hardcore funnel there, right?
Yep.
All sorts of like how to upsells and downsells and side sells and every freaking way sell.
Yeah. Yeah. My problem with paid traffic has just been, so like with something like that, typically what you have is you get it, you start the funnel out, and maybe you're selling like, I don't know, maybe you need to be converting it, I just make up numbers. Maybe you need to be converting it 10% to make it profitable, but they start off and they're converting it 2 or 3%. So they're losing a ton of money. My problem has always been 0%. Like, with paid traffic, it's like, it is astonishingly in our market. I don't know if it's just our market. I don't know if it's that I'm doing everything completely wrong, but I can't even get a toehold to where it's like, I'm confident. Like I can't even get to the point where I'm confident that I'm spending $1 and making 10 cents. Right. Like that's the starting point you need to be at before you can test it and like scale it up. You need to at least know what that baseline number is. And I haven't been able to get it to where we even are able to do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty pitiful.
I think part of the challenge with this stuff also is that with paid traffic, you're assuming you have some sort of a funnel right there. In a sense, to be able to just present one product and try to back out of it is pretty difficult. But if it's a funnel with upsells, downsells, side sells, all those things, and you start off maybe break even or even losing money, but then as people enter the funnel, you make more and more.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I mean, I have unfortunately, a lot of friends who are in the black hat Facebook space, and they literally have offers where a bunch of friends they are the ones running Facebook traffic while there's someone else is presenting an offer, right? Someone else has the offer itself. A lot of the deals are such that you as the marketer will get first 2 months of the subscription.
Yep.
The first 2 months, or the first payment and the next month's payment, or the first 3 payments, or the first payment, or the $97 front-end product is all.
It's like 100% commission.
100% commission for 1 or 2 months because they know their funnel is so deep.
Right.
They will make money and times 2x or 3x. Because the thing is, these guys tailor it exactly for that. Every part of this funnel is tailored for cold traffic.
Right.
And in some ways, that's not how we do it with warm traffic, because we don't think so much about trust elements and all those things in warm traffic as much as they have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So they're tailoring the whole experience for cold traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. $20 million.
I believe it. I mean, like, I know the some of the guys in like the tennis, some of the like those tennis. There's those tennis guys that they were up there too. They were probably doing at least 10 or 20 million. So,
Not surprised. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Chuck needs to wrap.
Yeah, pretty soon.
We should do thoughts then. All right, so my thought for the week is going to be a short story, but basically it is you don't take anything for granted. Like, you need to verify everything. so John and I, our sales are continuing to, like, they're sputtering along. It seems like things might be picking up a tiny bit, but we basically are like, all right, we need to just do a sale this in the coming week to try. So I was talking to John on the other day, and he was like, yeah, actually, this is a perfect time. Let's do it next week. It's a perfect time because it's Memorial Day weekend.
It's not Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah. All right. I live
when you're retired,
warp.
it doesn't matter.
I know. I live in such a time warp that it didn't even occur to me that it might not be Memorial Day weekend, because I hardly ever leave the house. I don't have anything. I mean, if it's Memorial Day weekend, I don't care because I'm still going to work on Memorial Day. Like, it doesn't really.
Reality.
What's that?
John is imposing his reality on you.
Yeah. So anyway, we're I'm motoring along. I was working this week on getting this Memorial Day sale ready, and I was like, okay, I need to pull some emails out and just tweak them. I'll probably reuse them, but I'll tweak them so that it's like for Memorial Day and everything. And then, so if this all would have gone down, all right, I would have sent emails to 54,000 people doing a Memorial Day sale on Monday if I hadn't happened to pull an extra package of frozen ground beef out of the freezer and stick it in the refrigerator to thaw. And my wife was like, are you making hamburgers? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I might this weekend, because it's Memorial Day weekend. I might as well. She's like, what are you talking about? It's not Memorial Day weekend. She thought I was joking. And then I just busted out laughing. And it didn't even occur to me to like check the freaking calendar. So dodged a bullet. You really like can't. I did this one time in college. I was the editor of the student newspaper, and we had a commencement speaker coming in, and someone told me at some point that CNN was going to come and cover the commencement speech, or no, C-SPAN, that's what it was. Just like have a camera there, cover the speech, and I just stuck it in the article, and I think I put it in the headline, and it was never even a remote possibility. Like, it had, I don't know where, I forget who told me, but it was not even in the cards at any point. And so like the faculty was just like ribbing me about it all commencement week. Like, oh, where's the C-SPAN camera, Josh? Ah. It was, oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, don't take anything for granted.
Oh no, don't let John impose his reality on you. He's now a retired old man.
Yeah, he's like, well, we were only a month off. So
Almost 2 months off.
yeah, about
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good times, guys.
I have a thought. Or do you have a thought, Manny?
No, I don't have a thought yet.
Okay. So last night, I was doing important things. I went to a school board meeting and I went and played D&D with a bunch of friends. And, I mean, priorities, right?
yes.
I was late to D&D because of the school board meeting, so I guess there are priorities there. But anyway, we played for an hour or so, and then we wound up talking for like 3 hours about belief and religion and politics, and it was mostly around just why do we believe the things we believe. And we all have the Utah Mormon background, and but we all have different perspectives on it. I think two of us actively attend and participate in church, and one of the guys mentioned that he had basically left the Mormon church, and then the other guy was talking about some of his struggles with some of some issues around some of the social aspects of the Mormon church. And anyway, it was really interesting just to dive in and really just have a deep conversation about, okay, why do we believe the things we believe, and what are the motivations for the things that I do, and where does the responsibility lie for the things that I'm dealing with, and the choices I make, and all of these different things. And I don't know that we came to any conclusions as a group, but they're also not conversations that I feel like I can just have with anybody, right?
Mhm.
I don't feel like these are conversations that I could just walk up to somebody and start having. And they're also not conversations that I would always be comfortable having at church or some of the other, places where a lot of people believe a lot of the same things I believe, just because it gets personal, and there's always that worry that they're going to judge you, or that they're going to, it's going to affect some other outcome in life, the social whatever with my wife, or whatever. And in this particular neighborhood and in our particular congregation, we've faced some of these things with some of the people who live here. And so and I've seen the church, at least in my extremely local area, deal with these things in a very positive and constructive way. But at the same time, what is that?
I'm sorry, man. There's some stupid website that started to play its thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know that we're always comfortable exploring some of these areas that make you uncomfortable, or that you don't have the answer to, or that you're not, you heartily disagree with, but you don't want to disrespect somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the masterminds kind of do that a little bit for you with business, but I would just encourage people, Josh, it sounds like you need a friend anyway. I don't get out. Nobody tells me it's not May. But, just I think a lot of times some of the things that make life hard boil down to the fact that we're going through something that's moderately hard, but because we don't have some kind of social structure to deal with it, or we don't have people who are understanding about us not conforming in some way to what the general expectation is, that we don't have a good way to process that stuff. I mean, I can sit down and I can think about things and I can process it, but when I actually talk through it with somebody who's going to challenge the way I think, I process it differently.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing here, right? I had a couple ideas while we were talking through the some of the things that I'm working on with DevChat, and I kind of I could do this and I could do that, and it was because I was verbally processing it as much as I was reporting on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just highly recommend, if you don't have a really, really good friend or a really, really good friends that you can go and lean on for this kind of thing, I don't know. I kind of luck into some of these groups, I think, but I mean, go find it, you know, invite some folks over to play games, invite some folks over to, you know, whatever, go fishing with some buddies, something where you're out and you can just hang out and chat. I have another group that I play board games with once a month, and it's kind of the same thing. We didn't quite get quite as deep as we did last night with this other group, which is really funny because the board game group is actually people that I go to church with and I see on a regular basis, and my kids play with their kids. And so you would think I would have a closer relationship with them this way, but it's a different kind of relationship with these other folks. And so, yeah, just, I guess my thought is just go find a friend that you know cares about you no matter what you do or say. I mean, unless you get personal with them or something, you know, you say something personal about them. But most people, you know, they're good that way, but still want to help you explore what you actually believe and who you actually are and how you perceive yourself.
And it helps if they have a good pocket calendar.
Yeah. Look, Josh, this is today, and this is Memorial Day.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Yeah, I kind of like where Chuck is going with this, so I'll just add to it. But I go on these walks with one of my buddies where we just literally go hiking or walking for like an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, like 6 miles, 7 miles. And we're just talking about business. Or, you know, just the act of talking it out can give so much clarity. It's unbelievable. And with talking with someone you can trust, talking with someone you know will not judge you or will not, you know, say, hey, you're wrong, this, that, but just like someone who listen and like kind of reflect back, that itself gives so many new insights and ideas. It's crucial. So yeah, finding your tribe is
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, see you next week.
Yep, back in a week. Next week is NGConf, and I'm not 100% sure where I'll be, so I may or may not be here.
Okay.
I can probably finagle it, but I'm not 100% sure.
So I guess we'll see you after Memorial Day then.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Same bat time, same bat holiday.
All right.
See ya.